Hello, my name is Shirley Self, and I'm here to talk astrology. And today I wanted to introduce you to Benjamin Netanyahu. This is his chart. He was born the 21st of October. He's due for a birthday this month. In 1949, he was born around 10:30 a.m. in Tel Aviv, Israel. Now, I got this from Lois Rodden's Astro Data Bank, and the data was labeled dirty data, so nobody knows exactly when Netanyahu was born. But this is what they're assuming, and it works. This is a interesting chart. Let's look at it. It's a Sag rising, Sagittarius, and what he's got in Sagittarius is he's got the demonic ascendant in Sag. He's got Venus, Chiron, Fortuna. Now the difference between Fortuna and demonic ascendant is in your this will be called the part of spirit, and it is the old it's been abandoned lately. But it's the old demonic ascendant, and probably it was abandoned because nobody knew exactly what it was for. Fortuna is where you kind of make your living. It's how you survive. Whereas a demonic ascendant is that job that that your daemon wants you to do. And I became enchanted with the demonic ascendant when I discovered that mine was in the 6th house in Gemini, conjunct the son of William Butler Yeats. Job to do. My demonic ascendant assigned it. So we've got all this Sagittarius. Up here he's a Libra. He's a Sun Libra, a Moon Libra, South Node in Libra, Neptune conjunct that South Node, and Mercury in Libra. Over here on the other side of the midheaven, on the Sagittarius side, he's got Saturn in Virgo. He's got Mars in Leo and Pluto in Leo, and Uranus over here in the 7th house in Cancer. North Node down here in Aries. Now, I've got over here Jupiter in Capricorn. I've got these asteroids. This is Eris. This is Vesta. And we know Chiron here. And I put Pallas Athena up here at the top. And the reason I did that is because if you'll look, the asteroids with Uranus form a grand square. So they're very informative here. This Eris, if you will remember the myth of Eris, she's the goddess who threw that golden apple into the melee and started the Trojan War. Vesta is sacred space, sacred place, your sacred obligations, and how you find that comfort of the hearth. Vesta is the hearth. We've got Pallas Athena, the warrior goddess, up there at the top. And they're in a T-square with Uranus. And so this Vesta over here in the 1st house shows the sacred feeling that Netanyahu has about his country of Israel. It is holy space for him. And I have been reading how the Jews are busy digging around as best they can in old Jerusalem, trying to find their history there, because it is their history there that gives them the right, they say the right, to be there now and to push out the Palestinians. But so far, very little they have been able to find of the Jewish presence there. Most of it is Arab and Muslim, the anthropology, the archaeology, sorry. So, whoa, this dude is heavy duty. He's a moon phase 28. That is, as you know, the last of the cycle. 26, 27, 28 do not have to incarnate if they've done their job right. And that means they have given themselves to Spirit, or God has won. But BB, what happens with these last three is that ambition, their ambition can become evil because they need to be guided by their inner spirit. And when they aren't guided by their inner spirit, the ambition turns evil. That's about the only way. Obsession leads to martyrdom. They are, to be functional, they must neither obsess nor possess, but that would leaves them to be possessed by spirit. They are either a sin eater or a sinner. They have the spiritual power. Let me explain sin eater to you. They have the spiritual power to draw pain and suffering and sorrow into themselves and to transform it into love. That is their spiritual power. And it's not, I've used, it's called Tonglen, the ability to heal others with your spiritual power. And they just do it automatically when they care about somebody or something that is hurting. That energy is transmuted and turned back into the world as love. So this Chiron, it's in the 12th house. You get your Chiron in the 12th house, and you have a power to make a spiritual, big difference in the world. A spiritual, to bring spirit into the world, to heal the world. And he's got his Chiron right there. His Chiron right there, his Fortuna right there, his Venus right there. That Chiron-Venus conjunction is a very loving conjunction. But you look at what happens with it, because it is square to the Mercury-Saturn. Venus square Saturn. It's hard to get things the way you want them when you've got a Venus and Saturn square or opposition. So, and this Venus, if you'll notice, this Venus rules the chart. Why? Because it rules this, the Sun, and rules this stellium in Libra. It is ruled by this Jupiter in its fall in Capricorn, here in the 2nd house. It is ruled by this Jupiter. And Jupiter is ruled by the Saturn. And the Saturn is ruled by the Mercury, and the Mercury is ruled by Venus. So we've got this these 4 planets that are all working on the motivation of this ascendant here, and it's a difficult. You can understand why BB's angry. I mean, he is his people. Endured a terrible, didn't endure it. They were slaughtered by the millions in a genocide. And now he is doing the same to other people. This is not the correct path for Moon Phase 28, or anybody, as far as I can figure. So, the Chiron. Now, you know Chiron, where it runs, it's run on the, I think, Kabbalah, and it's running between the Saturn and the Uranus. It's the base of the supernal triangle. It's the trump card of Venus, or the Empress. And BB was born in the time when that Chiron was moving away from Saturn toward chaos. I mean, that's what happens, is that the Chiron runs back and forth, and it takes it about 50 years to make the complete journey. But what happens is that society, culture gets too rigid, gets too Saturnian, too set in stone, and then things have to be loosened up by Uranus. Well, we're in a Uranus, Chiron Chiron in Aries is right now, and he has Chiron in Aries. And Chiron in Aries is Chiron is over by Uranus right now, so it's in chaos. And we're enduring an awful lot of chaos. Be interesting to see what happened to Bibi during his Chiron return, but I'm not that deeply interested in Bibi. Anyway, the Chiron is aspecting everything. I mean, it's aspecting the Mercury, so there's an eagerness here to learn, and for Bibi, it looks like it's eagerness to learn from the past. The Chiron is in conjunct to the Uranus, and that's a dissatisfaction with the status quo, discontent. It's the Chiron is square. Well, I didn't put in Juno. I didn't have Juno's relationship, and she's up here in this mess, and the Chiron is square. No, wait, she's over here, and the Chiron is square to Juno, and which makes sense because Juno is relationship, and this Chiron square Juno shows that he has got a lot to work on when it comes to relationship. It is the Chiron is trine the Eris and conjunct the Venus, so it's an idealistic. Chiron-Venus conjunction is idealistic, and it's a pity that Venus is square Saturn, because that gives him a tremendous amount of anger, discontent. I didn't get what I want. And he has lost a lot of people. He's lost relatives, his brother, whom he loved. He lost in one of the previous wars that Israel has had to defend itself against. What's really bothered me was that recently I learned that Bibi Netanyahu had promoted Qatar's arming of Hamas. He had not only allowed it, he promoted it, realizing that the choice he had was between dealing with Hamas or dealing with the Palestinian Authority. And rather than give away any of Israel's potential property to a Palestinian state, he would rather go to war with Hamas. And so there we are. And it is a terrible, terrible war. This is, the whole world is looking at it and calling it genocide. And this is a moon phase 28 gone wrong. Gone wrong. Custer was a 28, and he wanted to run for president. Unfortunately, the Indians ended that ambition. Charlie Kirk, who was recently, they say, assassinated, murdered, was a moon phase 27, and he had ambitions, political ambitions, ambitions for power, and he was eliminated. Bibi, I'm sure, has an awful lot of protection because he has every reason to be paranoid. Every reason to be paranoid. The Pluto's in the 8th house. So yeah. Well, there's his chart. You know, these nodes. I have Aries Libra nodes. My south node is in Aries. And in my youth, I never found an argument that I could resist. I never found a war that I could stay out of. And you think of Libra as peace. Libra's not terribly peaceful. Libra will fight for peace, but it is every bit as warlike as Aries is. So there's Bibi Netanyahu. What's happening in Israel is a terrible thing. Is a terrible thing. Is a terrible thing. And God knows how it will end. But we're in such a mess. Have you noticed? It's hard for me to reconcile the world that I'm living in now with what I always thought my world was. I loved my country. I still do. I love the people in it. I still do. I pray that we can come together. But as for the Palestinian people, I don't know. I don't know. God. Anyway, that's Bibi Netanyahu. There's a lot more one could say about this chart. But you just look at it and you see that this is not going to end well. I pray that you're well. And the more we endure here, the more you must realize the only hope we've got is in the loving hearts of us people. So if you love someone, make sure they know it. It matters. Take care.